Hey guys, welcome to Blue Light Strong. My name is Graham. Today I'm going to talk about my journey, why I've formed Blue Light Strong, and how it can help you. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about my past, my history, and why I've set up Blue Light Strong, what it can do for you, what it could do for maybe one of your colleagues, somebody you know at work might be struggling a little bit in their mental health. My story is a pretty simple one. About 10 years ago I joined the police, working on response, what we call response. I think at that time in my life, I was probably mid to late 20s. I was probably a bit unprepared for it myself. As a person, I found it quite a shock. Working in quite a fast-paced environment, quite deprived areas. So much going on that I didn't even knew happened in the world. I was quite naive. I ended up getting quite overwhelmed with it all, to be honest. I can admit that now. I was going through work-related stress, no doubt about it. That was building and building up. But early quite on, I had an injury which didn't really affect me physically at the time, but maybe it didn't help me develop as an officer. You know, things could have worked out differently if it hadn't have happened, where I ended up losing a section of my index finger there, and that there's a skin graft. The skin there is actually from my knuckle here, and this skin here is from my arm. Where is it? It's from my arm here. Okay, so that skin there is on my knuckle here, and this skin here is now on my skin graft, and the missing skin from there went in the bin about 10 years ago. So obviously that halted my my probation period. That happened really early on in my service. But like I said, it didn't really affect me mentally. I wasn't too worried about it. Bandage, a short period on the sick, back on the beat. Was never too worried about it. I don't think it affected me stressfully or anything like that. Maybe it added to everything else that happened afterwards. But yeah, it was just some more scars on my body, and it was a bit of a joke that I had a gammy finger and all that sort of thing around the station. But as time went on, I was struggling more and more. I went to a few jobs or incidents that probably I didn't handle perfectly myself. I know that now. I wasn't a perfect officer, that's for sure. Wasn't the right job for me at the end of the day. Went to a few incidents, such as the main one would be a murder, where I was the first on scene for quite some time, waiting for support. A colleague arrived to give me help that was doing CPR for what obviously felt like an eternity, but probably wasn't that long. Probably about 10 or 15 minutes on my own, and then another 5 or 10 with the colleague before the ambulance arrived to help. They arrived, obviously knew that person had sadly already passed away. That was just one incident that didn't sit with me quite right. Probably wasn't handled brilliantly by myself or the organisation. No need to criticise, but no debrief at all, anything like that. And these things are happening day to day from officers all over the country, the fire service as well, ambulance staff, Coast Guard, you name it. It happens in any walk of life, but obviously blue light jobs are more at risk of it than anybody. So ultimately ended up the stress is building and building and building, not having any coping mechanisms at all. Got to the point where before work one day I was in town having a meal before I set off for work for my shift, and ended up just breaking down in tears in the middle of the shopping centre. Putting myself on the sick, go see the doctor, get prescribed medication after a 10-minute appointment, and thinking there's got to be more to it than this. And And luckily I had a friend at the time who was practicing as an alternative therapist, the therapy which we'll get into more details as time goes on. He put me onto this, and this helped me more than anything else, more than the doctors helped me, more than the medication helped me. And it's something that I believed in so strongly that I actually at the time studied, started practicing with other people, friends and family, and anybody who would give it a go. Saw some amazing results. So I left the police. I wanted to become a practitioner in this one particular technique. Tried to set up a business, which immediately fell flat on its face. Again, wasn't the right time. I was too young. Although I wasn't that young, I probably wouldn't have been the best person at that point in my life to be a therapist or alternative practitioner, however you want to call it. But since then, I've spent the last 10 years learning about everything from marketing to websites, social media, you name it. Even talking to a camera more recently. But always having an interest in the therapy itself, in self-help or personal development, whatever you want to call it. Reading tons and tons of books constantly. So now I've got to the point where I know I can help people, and when I saw that the blue light program that Mind are promoting, and I'm involved in that as well myself, I just thought, wow, now was the time for me to use what I've learned and show this technique, show all the other things that I've learned, and to use my skills. It's all come together finally after 10 years of trying and ticking it away in the background. Sometimes not so much, sometimes more than others, but constantly learning, constantly building to a point where I knew that one day I'd get my chance to help other people with the things that I learned that I know helped me so much. Because I can guarantee that there's people out there that are in need of help. We know that is a fact. Public services are facing more pressures than ever before. Everybody knows that. And it's the staff on the ground that struggle the most. That is without doubt. The staff on the ground are the ones that are going home stressed. They're the ones that are going on the sick. They're the ones that are leaving the job, a job that they love, that they want to do. The staff on the ground are the ones that, not just the ones on the ground, but we know that there is a certain percentage that have thought about suicide, and obviously that percentage is far too much. It's just over a quarter. I think it was 27% of those surveyed by Mind have had suicidal thoughts, and obviously a small percentage as well have actually gone ahead and committed suicide, which is just absolutely tragic. Any of that is one is too many. So the aim of Blue Light Strong is to help people in the emergency services and their families by showing them what helped me, so that they can help themselves. And as well as that, I've now re-qualified again recently in the technique, which you can learn about on the website for free, so that if you need more help than what I can show you in a video on a website, you can come to me and we can work together one-to-one. I'm hoping to be able to, that it takes off to the point where I can work with forces and fire services and ambulance and everybody like that. I can go in there, I can do group sessions. They're my long-term goals, to be able to do group sessions with people, show people how to manage their stress, how to become more self-aware of their issues, how to release emotions, memories. I've just recently released emotions using the techniques from 10 years ago with that murder. I've literally just released some of them in the last couple of months using the technique when I was going through my training again with my tutor. Talked about it. I thought I was fine. I thought that was in my past and there was no problem at all. I've talked about it with loads of people since, and I thought it was absolutely fine. But when I was doing it with the technique, I started explaining it. I explained what happened, and I went into more detail than I normally would have done if I was just talking to somebody about it. So if I was just talking to somebody and I didn't want to get into too much detail, I'd hit the key points and I'd stop the conversation, and I could do that. I practiced it, no emotional intensity at all. Talk about it in a little bit more detail. A couple of weeks ago in my training, boom, there I was, floods of tears again. Okay, use the technique, it's gone. Okay, I've released those negative emotions. It's a memory I still have, obviously, always will have. But using the things I can show you, you can release the negative charge to the emotion and move forward. How amazing is that for people who are dealing with this stuff on a day-to-day basis? How valuable could it be to you or somebody that you know, or the family member of somebody that you know involved in blue light, in the blue light role? So this is really big stuff. Blue Light Strong is now my passion. I wanted to go and become some sort of life coach. I hate the term life coach. Given the information that I've learned, the tools and skills that I have. But when I was on the Blue Light training program with Mind, I realised that who better to help than, firstly, the organisation I've worked for about 18 years, I think now, and similar organisations across the country. And the people I know that work so hard at helping people who they feel don't deserve the help all the time, and all that stresses and strains and trouble they take home with them, and the families feel that stress. They were away from the families at times when they'd much rather be at home. Everybody knows that. So they deserve the help more than anybody, I feel, especially the way things have gone politically over the last few years. Times are tougher than ever, and I saw it as my opportunity to do something positive, to give back. So I've set up Blue Light Strong as a social enterprise, community interest company. CIC is what they call it. So it's not a fully blown charity. They're a bit harder to set up as a one-man show as I am at the moment. But a CIC is a not-for-profit organisation, social enterprise, where the community of people who are this community in Blue Light are the emergency services workers and families and everybody like that. And the social enterprise is set up to serve those people first. So I'm not doing it to make profits. If you donate, I'm not running off with money at all. The money is going to be used and put back into the charity, to help spread awareness, increase support. So it could be a really positive thing. So all you've got to do is join the website, check out the videos. I'm going to talk about all sorts of different things that help me. I hope you don't mind these face-to-face things, that they're a bit boring. I know my voice is pretty dull. But hopefully you'll get to know me a bit better. And I can just share the things I've learned, the things I've trained in. Hoping to start doing some one-to-ones with people soon. The CIC's paperwork is filing at the moment. So hopefully that'll all be set up soon. I need to set up things, insurance, bank account, all these sorts of things will be set up. Hopefully by the time you watch this video. So it's a really positive thing, and I'd love for you to get involved. Donations are obviously going to be greatly appreciated, because that money is going to go back into advertising, primarily on Facebook and Twitter, getting people involved in the program, making them aware, get them to the website to watch the videos, to learn how to manage the stress, to release the stress, learn how to release past emotions that are keeping them in a stressed state at work today. Things that are in the past to keep things that are in the past to keep them in stress today. and your donations are going to help with that. Maybe at one point I'll get so much. I'm applying for funding as well, so maybe I'll get some funding and donations that can mean I can go and work with groups in organisations, in our blue light organisations. That would be my dream come true, to help people on the ground on a day-to-day basis. But if you're not wanting, or you can't afford to give a donation of any amount, any size at all, then what you can do, I'm sure nearly all of you are on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Nearly all of you will be, I'm sure. Just go, like us, share us, anything you can do at all. Just, you can support in other ways. It doesn't have to be financial, you see. Anything you can do, you can come onto our social media profiles and just simply like, comment, share, tweet, retweet, all those things. Every single one you do is going to help the Blue Light Strong. It's going to help us so much, because everybody's support you give online on the social media means that the budget I have to spend on advertising from donations gets smaller and smaller and smaller as it gets more popular. So what I'm saying is, if you can donate and share, that's the best thing. That would be fantastic. If you can't donate financially at this moment in time, then still welcome to join the website, everything like that. Get involved, share some pictures with us, retweet, like, all those sorts of things means that I can use the donation money, the donations I do get, the funding I do get just goes even further, because it's sort of like the posts are going viral. That's what I've been trying to say, right? If you help online, the posts are going to go viral, and the more and more people get involved, the easier it's going to be for me to help people. Now, the other thing is #BlueLightStrong. I'd love for you to share your pictures, your thoughts, anything like that, primarily on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, #BlueLightStrong. Okay, if you can share that, we can get some real momentum going here. People are going to be aware of Blue Light Strong. That'll be absolutely fantastic. And of course, the last thing is that if you know somebody you work with, or somebody in your family, and you think they could maybe just do a little nudge in the right direction, they're not somebody I need to send to the doctor or anything like that. I'm not trying to replace any of that at all whatsoever. This is alternative therapy, it's self-help, it's personal development, it's good stuff to help people in ways that they might not be aware of. Okay, so if you know somebody and you feel that they might need a little bit of help, just like I needed from my friend all those years ago, and he pointed me in the right direction. If you know somebody, could be the family member, anybody at all, just tell them about Blue Light Strong, tag them, share it, and that's going to make all the that could make all the difference to that person, and what a difference that could make in that person's life. And in doing so, we're creating a stronger community, and we're going to ultimately be able to do our jobs better, serve our organisations better, and serve the public better. So that's the theory behind Blue Light Strong. I hope you like what I'm trying to do. I'm a one-man show at the moment. All my spare time's going into this, all my spare money. If you can share 1 penny, if you can share £1, sorry, don't share a penny, because when you donate, I'll get killed off PayPal fees. Oh God. So anything you can do to help will be much appreciated. And if you do want to join, I'll see you on the inside of the video membership website. I'm going to talk about what is stress. First of all, stress is something that helps you at the end of the day, and a small amount of stress is perfectly normal. And people say, although I don't know if I fully agree, people say that it's actually a good thing for you. So what is stress? What are emotions? I'm going to go through it. So the first video I invite you to see, now that you know my story, you know me, is to come join me on the inside. We'll talk about what is stress, and I'm going to slowly build up to introducing the main technique that I know can help you if you do need help, or help somebody maybe that you know. So, but I will warn you, a lot of the things I'm going to talk about, you might think that's wishy-washy, that's nonsense, that's no, that you might have a knee-jerk reaction, and you might say, well, you're not a doctor, you're not qualified, I'm going to go and do this, and if that doesn't work, then that means there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. I can guarantee that to everybody watching this video. There's nothing fundamentally wrong. You wouldn't be in the role that you're in if there was. Okay? Basically, you've got to a point where you don't know how to handle it. You haven't got any help from the professionals that you have sought. Not gonna criticise or disrespect them. They're doing their jobs. But what I can do is show you an alternative. Okay? What I always say is, if what's out there is working, then we wouldn't be in this situation. There wouldn't be a problem. Okay? There'd be no requirement for me to do this whatsoever. There'd be no sickness. There'd be no stress. All of that stuff. I'd just be totally wasting my time. But where we are, we know that there is a lot of stress. Okay? It's everywhere. Nobody knows how to manage it. Well, some people do, but most people don't know how to manage it. Okay? So if what's working, if what you're doing is working for you, then that's fine. You don't need this. If it might work for somebody you know, so just tell them about it instead. But I can guarantee 99% of people watching this and joining the website and giving what I'm going to talk about, just giving it a try, 99% of people are going to get a benefit from it. From one form of what I'm going to talk about, they're going to get some benefit from it. There's no way they could leave that website and give it all a go. Okay? There's no way they're going to leave that website with no benefit. I can guarantee you that. So if you're willing to give it a try, not have a knee-jerk reaction and just say this is all nonsense, because it is alternative. Okay, I've come from the police world and I've gone to the alternative world, and I'm trying to bring it back to help for the good of people, blue light. Okay, but you've got to be willing to try it. Join the website. At the end of the day, it doesn't cost you anything. So if you're willing to give it a try, my promise to you is that the worst thing that can happen is you waste a bit of time watching me talk to you like this. Hopefully you'll appreciate what I'm doing. I'm putting myself out on a limb, time and effort, and I won't say reputation because I don't really have one, but I guarantee that 99% of people who join the Blue Light Strong website and watch all the videos I put on there get some benefit from it. So all you've got to do is participate.